I'm Maretha, and then Steffi's over there. Okay, we're gonna go right to the next slide then. We're gonna start with a little bit of background about me. So I guess my roadmap is a little bit different than you guys because I was originally an international student. I came from Indonesia. Anybody knows where that is? It's far, far away. I think it's like over 10,000 miles away from here. And then, so I was born there. And then when I was 14 years old, I moved to Singapore. I went to an international school there to learn English. So I didn't speak English until I was 14. And then as I graduated high school, I came to the States to go to college. I went to Cal State Fullerton and graduated in a bachelor's degree with major in accounting. So a little bit about me. If I'm not studying or working, I love to exercise. I love to do yoga. I enjoy interior design. I always constantly changing up things at home. And then just like any other, or most girls, I love shopping so much. Okay, and now Steffi's turn.
Hey everyone. So I'm kind of like Maretha. I'm not originally from California. I was born and raised in Montreal. Does anyone know where that is? Roughly, in Canada, somewhere in Canada. And actually their first language there is French. I don't know if most of you know that. So my first language is French, and I learned English when I was around 5 years old. So very similar to Maretha's story. And I went to school.
We're a bunch of foreigners.
Yeah, so maybe you guys can't relate that much to this part. But, and then I went to school there my whole life and did college there, and with always the intention of moving to California because my mom moved here around 8 years ago. And I initially wanted to move with her, but then I realized that school here is so expensive. And school in Canada is free. So I decided to stay there and finish my school over there and then find a job. That was always my plan. So, and then I moved when I graduated. Oh, now it's been a while. It's like 4 years in 2016. Like I said, I wanted to move to California, but I did get a job offer with KPMG. So I stayed there for 2 years. And then after I transferred to California, and I moved here around 2 years ago. And now I live in Huntington Beach. I love the beach. And some of my hobbies are, of course, like Maretha, shopping, but I didn't put a picture of that because I think that was obvious. All girls love to shop. I love to play tennis, and I love to cook and to eat. My favorite thing to eat is sushi.
Awesome. Okay, so now you understood a little bit about us. Let's talk about a little bit about our career journey. So I've been working for about 13 years now, so I am a lot older than you guys. I started my career in public accounting. I actually started not at KPMG, even though I ended up at KPMG. Originally, I started in a local CPA firm. So as I said earlier, I was an international student. So I was very lucky to find a firm that was willing to sponsor my working visa. And, a long story short, I met my husband and then I got married, and now I'm a U.S. citizen. But originally, I had to find a job that would have sponsored me as a qualified, legally working immigrant here. But that CPA firm did not really survive. I don't know if any of you guys know about the 2008 financial crisis or no. No.
I know.
So there was awesome. So in 2008, there was financial crisis. So that firm did not survive, actually, unfortunately. But I was very lucky as before they shut down, I think 2 months beforehand, I applied to KPMG and I applied to Ernst & Young. And KPMG was very quick to take me in as an experienced hire. So that's where I continued my road in public accounting. I was there so in the local CPA firm, it was about 4 years, and KPMG for about 2 years. And I was gaining a lot of valuable experience, met a lot of smart people. It was completely two different experiences, every single one of them. Both of them are very rewarding, but I ended my public accounting career in a high note. So as I was working a lot, and just like any other, I don't know, college graduate kids attending CPA firm, I think most of them tried to do anywhere from 2 years to 5 years. And then we graduated from that particular industry and joined an industry firm. So I actually joined AAA. I did financial reporting over there. I did that for about 3 years. My boss over there actually went to Bank of California. He was the controller there. He took me over there, and I was at Bank of California for about 3 years as a vice president accounting and finance. So similar to kind of like what I'm doing right now. So I stayed there for about 3 years, and I joined Ensign Services. That's where me and Steffi are currently working. I'm serving right now as an assistant controller. And next, I think Steffi, we're gonna stay in this slide because Steffi, I'm not gonna speak for you, Steffi. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't have that much experience as much as Maretha. Like I said, I graduated, I think it's been a while actually now, well, 4 years. So once I graduated, like I said, I got an offer with KPMG right away. So I stayed in the Montreal office. And actually, now that I'm thinking of it, do you guys know what the Big Four are? Nobody? Maretha, do you want to explain that? I feel like you would do a better job.
So as you choose your career in accounting, I think, and we're going to touch upon this later a little bit more, but when you choose accounting as your career, I think our strongest recommendation is to start your first step in public accounting. In public accounting, meaning you join a CPA firm. And CPA firm has ranges from local, which I started, all the way to Big Four. Big Four is like the creme of the crop, international, world renowned. Everybody knows about it. Well, you guys will. But the Big Four is KPMG is one of them, Deloitte is one of them, Ernst & Young is one of them, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Now, any of those firms sound familiar to you guys or no?
Now you guys will see it around, I'm sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Steffi.
So anyways, those are the big accounting firms that everyone wants to work at. So when I got an offer with them, I took it right away and I stayed in their Montreal office for 2 years. And I transferred to the OC office and stayed there for another year. And then this past year, I started at Ensign with Maretha.
Awesome. Okay. Why did we choose the accounting route? You guys probably are going to laugh, but I have always loved math and accounting courses when I was in high school. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I love touching like my fingers in 10 key calculators. I don't even know if we use that anymore nowadays, but I love that traditional, old looking with the weird noise, like with the paper circling. I love punching that. I don't know why. I would just be like typing numbers all day long, and I could do that literally for hours. So I think as I learned that I love numbers, and I don't know, like I think becoming a math teacher was one, and then the other one was being an accountant. But as I research more and more, I think accounting has a lot more paths. So that's why I choose accounting. But besides that, you know, in college, they actually teach you how to read like financial reports, pulling it from different Securities and Exchange website, and you guys will learn that maybe later in life. But as the teacher is giving us assignments to break down the financial reports, I don't know, to me it's like a puzzle. So I kept going on that route, and here I am today, 13 years later, still doing that. Steffi, what about you?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know I wanted to be an accountant early on. So it's really awesome, and I think it's great that you guys are doing this so early. It was actually on my last high school year when I was applying for college. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I asked my dad, I'm like, what would be your dream job? And he was like, I honestly have my dream job. And it sounds really tacky, and to this day I'm like, wow, Dad, like you could have said something so much cooler. But he's a CPA, and he was like, I just love my job. Like I just feel like I'm helping a lot of people every day, and there's just so much interaction. And I actually went to the office with him one day, and I just saw a lot of people just asking him questions, and they just put a lot of trust in him, which I liked. Just asking him like just random things, just like, oh, should I invest in this? And people were even asking him about like more personal things. And I think it's just because they trust him like as a CPA. And so that's mostly why I picked it. And most important also because I really like working with people, and I saw that he always had meetings with his clients, and I just really liked that aspect of it. And also what was really important to me was knowing that I would have a job after college. And this is like real talk. You're always going to need an accountant. And especially, I think I realized that during the pandemic, a lot of my friends unfortunately lost their jobs, but luckily, and knock on wood, I was fortunate enough to still keep my job. And I think accounting's a very safe industry because all companies need accountants. So those are my reasons.
So as of now, a quick question would be, do you guys like your job?
I love it. I get to see Steffi every day.
I love
I'm kidding.
it.
No.
Every day.
No, I love it. Of course, you know, we're humans. I think there are going to be days that are hard. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I think that's everyone. That's with literally everyone in this world. You go through that that patch, but that phase. But I think it's important for you to find a company and that fits your culture, that you believe in and what they do, and then the people that you work with is also key. So yes, I love it.
I have to agree, and I'm not like lying right now. I love my job, and I'm really, really happy that I did choose this path. And I'd say like also if you end up this is kind of like another topic, but if you do choose a path, if you realize you don't like it, you could always change back, you know, it's never a dead end.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a great question. Okay, anyone else? All right, what does CPA stand for? And if everybody knows, that means I'm literally, you guys just proved you guys are 10 steps ahead of me in life, and I'm like 10 steps behind.
Certified
Anyone?
Public Accountant.
Yes. Oh, you guys are so smart. Okay, that's not so fun. Go ahead, Steffi, take the next one.
Okay, so you guys can be totally honest. What's the first word that comes to mind when you think of a CPA? And we will not get offended. If no one says boring, then you guys are being way too nice.
Funny.
Funny? Well, you know.
I've never heard of that before.
Office job.
Okay, I like that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Small numbers.
Good one.
Any takers?
Come on.
Okay.
Three more.
Math.
Math. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Okay, now all of those are actually correct. Actually, we were expecting, me and Steffi were kind of like rehearsing earlier, and we're like, oh, I'm expecting to hear boring.
Yeah.
Anyone would say that accounting is boring? Because that's what I thought. Okay, so as I said, I think you guys are literally 10 steps ahead of us. I don't recall when I was in high school. Maybe it could be because I didn't attend high school here in the States, but I never really recalled having this type of workshop or this type of webinars where actually an actual CPA or an actual lawyer, a doctor, any other type of profession like wedding planner, whatever you might call it, or IT, come and talk to us and tell us, you know, their perspectives or what their day-to-day life is. So this is actually really great, I think. But a CPA, the numbers, the math, all of those are correct, but it's literally not every day. Like the more experience you gain in accounting, the further away you are from numbers. So I'm gonna have Steffi speak from her perspective, but this is my perspective. When you read financial report, right, in order for you to really understand what is in that report, what is that report saying? So let's say it says cash for company ABC is $1 million. Let's just say that. And then there's all these expenses. You pay rent for the building where you're at, or you pay your employees and you pay your taxes and all that. So, but what does that mean? Like, you need to have an entrepreneurial spirit in order for you to understand what every single line item, every single transaction that's going in, day out in the company that you're working at, or it could be your own company. You could be a CPA, or you could be an accountant, you own your own company. Let's say you love baking, and then you open up a bakery, and then you could do your own books, but you will be able to own it, and you will be able to know every single transaction that comes in and out, from literally starting up from cash, right? So it requires a lot of analytics. It requires a lot of thinking. It requires a lot of critical thinking, actually, to really understand the numbers. And you're also surrounded every day that I come into work. I'm surrounded by individuals, of course, like Steffi. So our accounting department is actually, and I didn't realize this, maybe Steffi also didn't realize this, our accounting department, including payroll, including accounts payable and all that, is actually 176 people. I just realized that. So it's a really, really big department, at least at excuse me, at least at the company that we're working at right now. And a lot of them, or most of them, are type A individuals, probably like yourselves, overachievers, very highly competitive, but in a very healthy way, in a nice way. And these individuals are highly ethical, and we all have a lot of integrity because we want to make sure the numbers that we're representing every month, every day, every year is correct. So that's a little bit about what a CPA do, or someone would have wished to tell me, because it's not all just about the numbers. It's not all about just like math. It's not all boring. It's actually a lot of critical thinking. Steffi, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm actually glad that most of you said math and office job. Well, office job is true, math somewhat true, but I think there's a really big misconception that to be a CPA, you have to be like really good at math. Like, honestly, real talk, I'm horrible at mental math. Probably shouldn't say this. It's really embarrassing how bad I am, but here I am still. So if you're not top of your class in math, or even like not that great, I don't think you should be discouraged, and I think you should still keep CPA as an option. You just really, like Maretha said, it's a lot of more entrepreneurial, like critical thinking. And as for the office job, I think there is another misconception that being an accountant, CPA, it's like you're just behind a cubicle all day crunching numbers. I think maybe that's really like an old school CPA maybe, but I think nowadays it's so beyond that. I think being a CPA, you really need soft skills, because you're always collaborating with other people, you're talking to other people, and everything you do is teamwork oriented. So that's definitely a big misconception that we're just not interacting with people and you're just like behind your cube all day.
Yeah. No, how many hours a day I stay in my office, Steffi?
Like never. I always try to go to she's never there. She's like in meetings talking to other people, and I'm just like, I text her like, where are you? Like, I need you.
Yeah, so we don't just sit behind our desk all day.
Yeah.
Okay. Day-to-day life. So I think Steffi touched a little bit about meetings, a little bit about when I wake up, I get up, I usually like shower at night, wash my face, brush my teeth, get ready, go to work. Okay. The second I come in, it's meetings from 9 to 5, meetings. But it sounds terrible, but it really is not. Steffi touched a little bit about collaborativeness in our profession. The more experience you get, the more you're involved in meetings, the more you collaborate with other departments, the more you collaborate with so many other people, and you actually become a part of the decision makers. So the meetings are important. The meetings are the opportunity where you actually get to interact with different types of personalities. Some people are very difficult to work with. Some people are very easy to work with. And it actually automatically teaches you how to become a leader in order for you to kind of like address the personality A, personality B, personality C. But you as a leader, which eventually all of you will be, your job or your goal is to make sure everyone collaborates, everyone become on the same page, and you could reach a conclusion. And there's also never a day, even from 13 years working, where I say, oh my God, I know everything. I know exactly how to do this. I'm the master of everything. Everybody's going to come to me with questions. No, every day, at least where we work at, every day is different. I can never plan my day. Every day is a new challenge, and it actually is a humbling experience because I literally honestly can say that I am learning, at least at this company, every day with Steffi from all different types of level of roles, from all different departments. What is your daily life, Steffi?
Daily life, I think it's just solving problems all the time. And because like Maretha said, there's always problems, but problems make it sound like it's bad. But I think that's the best part. It keeps you learning and challenges you and really motivates me. Of course, I also wanted to mention that a lot of, I think people think that accounting is a very routine job, which I think any job is routine at some point, but I think being a CPA, it goes beyond just having a routine job. Like I said, there's always problem that comes up no matter which company you're working at. There's always accounting issues that need to be resolved. And like I mentioned earlier, a lot of teamwork. It takes more than one person, no matter where you work, to make financial statements or to, operate an accounting department. So it's a lot of teamwork.
Are we making it, okay, is our day-to-day life sound boring to you guys right now? No? Yeah? Everyone's still interested and engaged?
Does anyone in here know if they do want to be an accountant?
Maybe follow my mom. I don't know.
I think that's Shane. Is that Shane?
Yeah.
Because I cannot see all the screens, but I can hear everyone. Maybe follow your mom, Shane. Okay, are you sure? May I know, like, how many of you have parents or relatives or family members that are accountants? Could be CPA, could not be CPA. I see Eunice. Awesome. Okay, that's interesting. I want to know, like, what you think after this presentation. Is it your dad?
Mm-hmm.
Your dad's perspective and our perspective. I want to know if it's similar or not. Okay. So why get a CPA license? Okay, when you graduate college with an accounting major, but actually I want to touch a little bit upon college. I'm a little bit far behind from college days, but I think in Southern California, make sure if you choose accounting as your route and you want to major in it, there's, as far as I know, and I can be wrong, and you guys probably know this better, in Southern California, there are only 2 schools that have double accredited accounting major. One of them is Cal State Fullerton, and the other one is USC. But I think UC Irvine now has accounting major. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. So make sure you choose accounting school that are double accredited if accounting is the route that you want to take. Okay. So when you graduate from college, right, with an accounting degree, you're not automatically a CPA. A CPA is an additional step. It's a license. It's a bar exam where you have to take. It consists with 4 parts. I think a lot of people do it anywhere from 6 months if they really commit their life to it. 6 months to 2 years. I think it expires within the first 18 months when you pass your first part of the exam. But I actually know a person who like tried for 8 years and he finally got it. So it ranges. So for me, I actually took for about a total of 8 months in the whole process to pass all 4 parts. I think the first 3 parts that I took, I passed it all in the first time. And then the last part, which was, I think it was related to tax. So that's actually a hint that when I was in public accounting, I was doing audit, not tax. So the tax one I failed and I retake it and then I passed it. So the first 3 parts all passed the first time. The last part I failed it and then retake it. Okay. So the reason I touch upon that is, why is it important for you to get a CPA license? Again, it's going to be my perspectives and Steffi perspectives. Okay. So I do a lot of hiring, at least at this company as well as this company, previous company. I'm very involved in hiring. So when I have and I'm just gonna pick some names here. So if I have Eunice Lee is a CPA. Eunice Lee's resume, you apply for an entry-level staff accountant job in our company. So Eunice Lee is a CPA, and then Elise Tran is not a CPA, okay? So you guys graduate from the same school, have same GPA, the same extracurricular activities or whatever it is that you guys are involved with that make your resume is very glorious, and then you both are smart, same everything, but one is a CPA and one is not a CPA. I'm not saying that I will never not hire Elise, but Eunice, I will call her first and do a phone screening, like an initial screening. But having a CPA doesn't mean it's a free pass and that's it. You're guaranteed a job. Just like any other profession, I think we all want the whole package. We want the CPA, we want the Big Four CPA firm, we want the soft skills, like very open, outgoing, happy, like collaborative type of personalities. But what I'm trying to say is that when you have a CPA, it kind of gives you a competitive advantage. Like you're there, you're in the front line. Like I will pick you first, Eunice. I will call you and screen you. And then if I like the way you interact, if you're engaged in the conversation, then we will invite you in-house and you will meet more of the leaders and more of the team, and then go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. Now let's say Eunice has a CPA and I actually don't like her. I actually don't think that she will be good for the team, or her personality will not match with our culture, company culture. Then I will, of course, give Elise an opportunity, and I will still call Elise, and then let's say Elise actually, wow, she's very outgoing, she's very smart. I just want to make sure. I will ask Elise the same thing. I will say, Elise, is CPA in your agenda? And if Elise says yes, then that's great. If it's not in her agenda, it kind of represents character. Call it bias. Maybe I'm old, but it is bias. Like having a CPA represents a lot of character, and probably Steffi can touch upon that later, but it represents a lot of character. It represents a lot of determination. So I actually like candidates who have CPAs or actually are planning to study and get their CPA license.
Yeah.
Steffi, why should we get a CPA license?
Continue on what you're saying. It's not easy, obviously, to pass the exams. But I think the main thing why it's not easy is not necessarily the material. Like obviously it's not easy peasy, but I think the most difficult is to be motivated to study for it and determined to write the exam, do the exam and pass it, because you take the exam after you graduate, right, Maretha? I don't know if it's the same thing in the States.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes. Well, yes.
Yeah, so
I think it's better for you too. Yeah.
So after you graduate, you can get a job, and you have to really motivate yourself to go that extra step and study really hard to get that exam. So once you get that license, it's just in itself gives you gives you that title of like, this person is a dedicated worker, a hard worker, and gives you that credibility. And with that, it also opens a lot of doors, I think. You could start off in an accounting job, but with a CPA, I think it opens a lot of doors, meaning like you could go in finance, you could do like operational, kind of anything, because you have that title. And it, like I said, it represents hard work. Or even if you're not familiar with finance or anything, the person looking at you and seeing that you have that title, they're like, wow, okay, this person is a hard worker. They got their CPA title, like they must be capable of learning and be motivated.
So you know how
yes.
a lawyer would be called a lawyer before they get there and they pass their bar exam, and then they're called an attorney? What would you call someone that hasn't gotten their CPI before they pass the bar or their test?
Just an accountant.
Just an accountant?
Yeah. And nothing bad about it. But you cannot. So a CPA license, basically, it allows you to, if you are, let's say you stay in the public accounting route, and then you have to sign a report, a financial report of a company that has to be filed with certain kind of like agencies. So let's say if you are your audit client, let's say, is a publicly traded company like us, meaning that have shares in the stock market, right? So a lot of investors are, let's say you want to buy a share of Apple, like one share of Google or Apple. So you go to this website called sec.gov, Securities Exchange and Commission.gov, and you pull the latest financials of Apple and Google and try to study it. Now, the public accounting firm and the partner that is signing Google's financials saying that, hey, Google's number is correct, it has integrity, it is accurate, and we certify it. So let's say I am the partner of that. I don't know who Google's auditors is, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the big four. So let's pick KPMG because we're biased because we're from KPMG. So let's say Maretha Kim is the partner at KPMG signing Google financials. So I need to have that license in order to be able to sign off on Google financials. If I let's say I don't have that license, I can't sign. So it's a lot of just more for formality purposes. But you know, it is absolutely a privilege. It is absolutely a pedigree. So you can't, like, for you to sign off like a tax return, you can't do that unless you have a CPA license. It's just not a credible, it's credibility. So if I don't have a CPA, I sign off on a financial statement, it has absolutely no credibility versus Steffi signing off on this financials with a CPA license. Does that help? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else has questions on that? Okay. All right, we're almost like nearing the end now because I remember these slides by heart. A little bit more advice from us. I guess I'll start with mine. When you go into college, let's say you go to Cal State Fullerton, because that's where I went. I think starting like maybe in your late to your second year in college, you start taking the accounting courses for your major, right? So you start taking the accounting courses and you finish all your general education courses. Try to join any accounting society, any accounting organizations or club in there, because it is very important that you do that, because whoever is in that club will be your future competitors when you graduate, when you try to find a job. So it's always good to stay competitive, but you know, like compete healthily. For example, I'm gonna pick up again like Eunice, Elise, Pri, Ryan are all in Cal State Fullerton studying accounting, gonna be a CPA one day. You guys are all joining accounting society or Beta Alpha Psi in college. Now, as you grow, as you mature in life, your understanding, your comprehension, your competitiveness will come out just naturally. You're all friends, but you're determining your own future. So a lot of them, I want to say 99.9% of the accounting friends that I studied with in Cal State Fullerton joined accounting society or Beta Alpha Psi, because in this club it gives you advantages to go to this events called Meet the Firms. What is Meet the Firms? Meet the Firms is usually held, I think, twice a year, if I remember correctly. So all the CPA firms, from the local small ones that only have 10 employees to all the way to Big Four, like the Deloitte, KPMG, PwC, all attend this Meet the Firms, and they're trying to recruit you even before you graduate. Okay, so this is your opportunity to meet them, to actually it's not only, you have to think of it two ways, okay? It's not like all the firms are recruiting you, you're also recruiting them. Like, do you want to work with Maretha if Maretha is representing KPMG? What if she's crazy? What if she's so boring? What if she like puts you to sleep? You don't want to work with that person. That means KPMG only recruits people like Maretha. Okay, let's say Steffi is in Deloitte. Oh, Steffi is like so outgoing, so fun. And then it's not going to be only 1 or 2% representing the firm. It's going to be at least 4 Big Four. At least there's going to be 8 representatives over there, ranging from the staff level, the entry level, all the way to partner. So you get to meet different types of roles in all these firms that you meet with. And then you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I like, for example, I'm going to say Pri is the partner, and then Elise is the manager, and then Eunice is the staff year one at KPMG. I mean, yes, from Eunice, from Pri, from Ryan, they're all great. Why wouldn't I want to join KPMG? I want to join KPMG, and then this is your chance to win their hearts. Okay, they're gonna recruit. They're gonna look at your GPA for sure, but they will evaluate everything you do in terms of personalities, how you interact. Will you fit their culture? What kind of extracurricular activities? I think like the best of the best, the president of Beta Alpha Psi, of course, or the president of Accounting Society always ends up at Big Four. And or the secretary or the treasurer or the CFO or the CTO of this club always end up at Big Four. So I think I wish somebody would have told me that when I was younger, when I was in college. I was kind of like, la, 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 you know, like I'm a foreigner. I don't know, sure, I'll join this. But then I realized like, wow, this is not just some club. This is literally competition. But I learned that as I went in there, as I was in there, not before I joined. So if you guys really are serious about accounting, and let's say you go to all this, to either USC or Accounting or whatever, UCI, whatever it is, any types of accounting clubs, just join in there because that's where the big firms, the small firms, the mid-tier firms recruit. And that's where you want to recruit them to. Like, yep, okay, that's the firm that I want to go to, and then just go for it. Just fight for it. Don't give up. Just like a straight arrow. Just make up your mind and like, okay, Deloitte is where I want to go to. KPMG is where I want to go to. Develop the relationship, and usually they recruit you a year beforehand. So they will invite you to join them as an intern. So you do like a summer internship program or a winter internship program, and then if they really like you and you really like them, you will get an offer to work at Big Four even before you graduate. So a year before you graduate, you get offered a job. It's pretty awesome.
That's really awesome.
What's your advice, Steffi?
Okay, I have one. If I could just give one advice, it would be this. I think it's super important. If any one of you decides to go in accounting, my advice is don't stop at your bachelor's and make sure you get your CPA license. And I'm saying this, and obviously it might be very obvious to you guys now, but the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of people after their bachelor's and after they graduate, they get a job offer and then they just kind of relax and just say, oh, well, I already have a job. I don't need to take this exam. And they kind of just stop there. And I say this because a lot of my friends have done that. They just got a job at a Big Four and then they're not required to take the exam. It's highly encouraged, but no one's telling them you need to take the exam, right? So, and I think my advice is to take it right after college because that's when you have the most time versus when you get further in your career, you know, you're going to have more responsibilities, obviously, in your job. So it just gets more difficult and you just want to get that exam done with and have that title, you know, so that's really my number one advice. And also, yes, I have to agree with Maretha, get Big Four experience. It's just so priceless to get Big Four experience. You'll probably end up hearing that once you work at a Big Four is like, it's crazy because I'm not gonna lie, you guys are gonna be working crazy hours, but Maretha's laughing because she's like, yep. Those years that I worked at KPMG are honestly probably one of my best years because you just learn so much. And it's hard to explain because you're working at KPMG, but you have different clients and those clients could be like Google, I don't know, any company because those are KPMG's clients or Deloitte or whatever. So you just see inside their company and you just get so much experience seeing all the different types of accounting transactions. And I don't think I don't want to say you can't get there and you can't get that anywhere else, but at a Big Four, they audit and have like very big clients. So you get to see and work with like big companies. So that's really nice. And it's also really fun because with working at a Big Four, you get to travel a lot. So I'm sure you guys think about that. Like once I graduated the next year when I started working at KPMG, I like traveled to well, at the time I was in Canada, but you travel to like Florida, California, and I was literally on a plane probably every second month, and I thought that was really cool, especially being like 22, and I'm like, wow, I'm traveling for business. I felt like, and then they give you a company credit card, and it's really fun, and you meet a lot of people, which I think is the best part because they just come from everywhere. There's offices everywhere, and you just build your network, which is really awesome. And actually, before I started working with Maretha, I already knew of her because of the small Big Four world, accounting world.
Yeah, it's funny because when she came for the interview, she was like, "Oh my gosh, Maretha, I've been waiting to meet you." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how do you know me?" And then I realized that, oh, she's KPMG, and then the company that I used to work at, as part of the audit engagement team, is actually Steffi's boyfriend right now. So see, it's like the Big Four, it's like this type. Once you're a KPMG alumni, you're KPMG forever.
And then my last piece of advice, and I'm sure Maretha agrees with this, is find a company that's a good fit for you. And what I mean by that is, with accounting, any company has an accounting department, and find that company that you're very proud of what they do and you like what they do and their culture fits you. What's really important for me is also the people at the company. Working with people that are like similar to me, that are like motivated, and people that are smart, because I want to learn from smart people, and just people that are going to make me grow. And I think that's really important, to stay motivated.
Yeah. No, I want to echo what Steffi just said. So, you know, it sounds all like we have our lives figured out right now, but you know, when I first graduated, I have this thought, or even before I graduated, okay, when I'm 28, one day I'm gonna be a CFO and making, I don't know, $10 million a year. And nobody told me that it's not that it's impossible. It's just there's no shortcuts in life. You just have to go through the phases. You have to go through each step. But you know what? Like, no, I'm not a CFO. No, I don't make $10 million a year today. But my life right now, where I'm at right now, is a million times better than what my plan was supposed to be. Because it actually took me a long time. So currently right now we work at Ensign Services. That's the publicly traded healthcare company that when we introduced ourselves earlier. But it took me a long time to find this company where both me and Steffi are working at. So I was joking with Steffi earlier. She's way smarter and she's way luckier. It took me 13 years, 12 years to find Ensign Services, and it took Steffi only 3 years to find Ensign. So I've been working in 4-5 different companies, right? So I used to think that title and compensation are the only two factors that matter in life. That is what's going to make or break my career. That is what's going to make me happy. I was completely wrong. So it required a lot of learning experience for myself to understand that no, it's not the title. Yes, the title is great, and if you get the title, the compensation will follow you. But it's not the title, it's not the money that I should be chasing. It's the company that has the right type of people, that has the mission statement and value that you actually truly believe in. If those are not aligned, it's not the whole package, you won't be happy. I was working in a company where the company itself actually has a lot of great people, but I did not agree with the mission statement of the company. I did not agree with the value of what the company is trying to do or achieve. So it was kind of miserable. I mean, yes, I look forward to the people that I like, to see them every day. But it's literally, I'm contemplating, should I be here? Should I not be here? Should I be in this company? Should I not be in this company? So it took me a long time to realize that, and that I was not happy because I was not working in the right company. And now I'm working in the right company. I don't know. I'm happy every day. Have I ever yelled at you, Steffi? I get stressed all the time, but I don't know. It's a good stress because you're not alone. You're working with a lot of people. You're working with a lot of great people. So I think it's very important. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was young. I really wish somebody would have had some type of webinar and workshop. I know this will all just be words to you guys, and if you take it seriously, that's great. But I think no matter what, sooner or later, you'll realize that finding the right company, finding the right fit is the only thing that matters, because everything else will just follow after that. If you're in the right company, if you're happy, you want to work hard. When you work hard, you'll get recognized. When you get recognized, you'll get rewarded, you get promoted. Everything will just fall into place.
Agreed.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so I think we can move into the Q&A now. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And that's actually the end of the slides. Okay. Anyone has questions for me and Steffi?
Okay. So one of our members were wondering, like, they knew that there was different types of accountants, but like what are the different types, and like what's like the main differences between them? Do you guys know?
Yeah, I think I understand that question. So what are the types of accountants? There are so many paths you could take when you have an accounting degree, especially when you have a CPA. In public accounting, you could, let's say you join KPMG, you get put into 3 different departments: audit department, tax department, or advisory department. That's when you actually get involved in a lot of mergers and acquisitions type of transaction. So that's in the public accounting side. I'm trying to make this as short as possible. And if you don't go to the public accounting route, let's say you work in a company like where I'm at right now, but you don't go to the public accounting route first. So you could be in the accounting department, GL accounting department, general ledger, where you're going to be like doing a lot of month-end close, dealing with payroll, dealing with accounts payable. Or you could be in the financial reporting department. That's when you put together and produce financial statements and work actually with the external auditors. Basically, people are like from the Big Four or any other CPA firms. You could be a tax accountant, a tax CPA. That's when you prepare, your annual tax returns where you have to pay and file and pay your taxes. What else? There's so many things. And you could be in the financial planning and analysis department. That's when you work with similar type of license like CPA. There's a thing called CFA, Certified Financial Analyst, I think. And that's when you collaborate with them and come up with a budget, forecasting, planning, all the boring stuff, but very necessary and essential to the company. What else? What else, Steffi? Am I missing anything?
I think, well, I just want to like clarify more to make it more simple also, because I see Bobby's question. Well, when we refer to public accounting, it's like the Big Four, where it's a firm providing accounting services to other companies. And then when we were referring to working in private like industry, it means like you're working at a specific company. So for example, KPMG, one of the Big Fours, would be you're working in public accounting, and then KPMG goes to audit, I don't know which, let's say Google. Then the accountants working at Google, they work in industry. Does that make more sense?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or we're just confusing you guys?
No, that's good.